Welcome back. Week 3, new season. We love it. Week 3, can't believe it. Flown by. Anyway,
I can't say nothing till I can't say nothing till you introduce me, mate.
He says as he says something.
There we are.
Week 3, we're here for a bit of championship action this week. Joining me as always is my ever-present podcasting partner, Alex.
There we are. Well, I was waiting for that. Yeah. Oh, what an absolute farce this has been. But we're back.
We've lost all social skills this
week.
We've
lost all social skills, but we're not alone.
I was going to say.
Oh, hang on. Yeah, first.
Gained merch.
Yeah, we have.
Look at that.
For those of you watching on YouTube, Sam is holding up the Send Him Off mug. No. Sam's about to grab the Send Him Off pillow. Cushion. We also cushion. Sorry, cushion. Yeah. We've got hoodies, we got stickers, all kinds of miscellaneous crap for you to buy if you so desire. So go and jump over. What's it? The sendhimoff.com.
No, it's not on there, but it probably will.
Oh, it's not.
Put it on there. We'll tweet it.
Yeah, we'll tweet it. But anyway, that's enough about our lucrative money schemes. We're joined today by Luke from Swans Cast and Jordan from Jordan Webber Twitter, I suppose.
Yeah. How are we doing, guys? Okay.
Not too bad. Yeah.
Nice to have you back.
I was going to say, lovely to have you back, fellas. Honestly, it really is.
I think the last time we spoke was before the playoff final. So there's a lot to unpack Swans-wise. Yeah, there's a lot to unpack Swans-wise. As always, we've had quite an eventful deadline day down in Swansea. For the last couple of years, it's been a staple of being a Swansea fan. Just heartbreak on deadline day. I know me and Alex last night were Alex, we had different emotions. Alex was just a bit done, and I
was sort of fed up. I
felt like I'd been kicked in the stomach until Michael Obafemi came in. But I suppose a lot of new faces, 3 new faces, I think yesterday and today, if you like. But a lot of the door. Jordan, what are your thoughts?
Mixed in it, really. I think I was a little bit fed up until 7, half 7. I was fed up the majority of the day because obviously Connor had left Jamal.
That was. Can we just appreciate how much of a kick in the balls it was to see Connor in a Burnley shirt?
Yeah,
that was a difficult one.
I think we might him leaving, but Burnley. No offense.
2.5 million as well.
No offense, I think that's what it was. Cast if you're listening, but
he's just turned into a long throw specialist now, isn't he?
Yeah. I guess
run up and down the pitch all day and throw a long ball onto Barnes' head, is it? Or who's a striker these days?
Chris Wood, is it? Yeah.
Although that's going to work wonders when he's playing with Kiefer Moore for Wales. So every cloud, I suppose, boys.
There we are. Anyway, sorry, John, we interrupted you, boy.
Oh, sorry, mate. I don't know. I'm really happy with Obafemi. I think he'll come really good. I think he'll work really well with Pirro. I'm gutted about Fosu. I would have liked him from Brentford purely because we could have done with another attacker. But taking that away, it would have meant Grimes going to Fulham if we had managed to get Fosu. And me personally, I would have rather just kept Grimes than get Fosu in.
Yeah, I agree.
Agreed, man. 100%. Luke, what are you saying?
Sorry.
Funny you mentioned that about Fosu and Grimes because I think I exploded Twitter this morning with a tweet about that. Don't know if any of you saw it.
Luke broke the internet.
He done a Kim Kardashian.
Yeah, it won a foot to your arsehole, Luke. Was it?
Well, no. I just said that I didn't understand the views that some people are airing saying they're disappointed that we kept Grimes at the cost of Fosu coming in. It's like he's the club captain, for God's sake. The man's literally been building the team around him since he's come in. So what do you want to do? Reset again, like an international break? Okay, hang on. Grimes is gone. Need to change the focal point of the system.
Yeah,
it's like we're already in the middle of rebuilding. We don't need any more of that carnage, if you like. And it's going to be a long process. And Grimes might go by the end of the year, but at least he's going to help us with this transition period. And then next season, whoever does replace him, if it's someone in the team already, if it's someone we need to bring in, it'll be a lot easier to do it when the rest of the players around him are able to play this style.
Sorry, mate. Go on. I don't know.
No, that's right. I just think I just think he's valuable. In that instance, and 3 million, if he can help us next season get off to a good start because the team plays the way we want to, with Grimes being that sort of central figure in that, I think it's easier then to replace him. And I don't think 3 million right now, with Fosu coming in, would have necessarily done that. I know we need that sort of creativity up top, but We got Obafemi, and who's the other one that came in today? Can't say his name.
Yeah.
Ncham, is it Ncham?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
So it's not the end of the world by any means. We've got Patterson in as well. So like, there's a couple of options there that hopefully Martin can put his stamp on and get us ticking.
Yeah, I agree. I said to Jordan before we came on, to be fair, I'd rather lose Grimes for free next summer than to have lost him yesterday for 2.5 million, 3 million.
Yeah.
I'd rather see him go for nothing and play all season. I will, because I think it's what you said. I think he'll stabilize it a lot. It'll be a bit of continuity there. We've lost Connor Roberts, we've lost Andre Ayew, we've lost Jamal Lowe. There's 3 of our biggest names from last year. Mark Gurley's gone, Freddie Woodman's gone. We're not the same team as we were last year. It's a completely different 11, basically. I think there's probably 2 or 3 even players in that 11 who were still there. So it's a bit of stability. I think overall, like you said, it could have been better, couldn't it? I think the prices are what irked me.
Yeah.
No, I was going to say that's
like,
what I was about to say. Whoever had approved, I'm sorry, but whoever approved 2.5 million for Connor Roberts
one though.
It's Julian, isn't it? Julian
it's 100% Julian. Someone needs to be shot for that. I'm sorry,
he's
but
got 1 year left in his contract, right? His contract's at the end of this year. 2.5 million is really disappointing. Obviously, we value him more, but
don't tell me Burnley haven't got more than 2.5 million.
The Jamal Lowe one irked me. The Jamal Lowe one.
What was that? 1.5 million. Was
1.5 million. He had something like 3 years left in his contract, 2 or 3 years left, I think. 14 goals in the championship last year, playing out of position, and we're selling him to another championship club for 1.5 million.
Like the thing with Connor Roberts, I know we had 11 months left on his deal, but are you telling me we couldn't have squeezed more money out of a Premier League side
100%.
for a player of his quality? There's absolutely.
I agree.
Boys, I'm about to ruin your day, right? I'm about to ruin your day. I ruined Alex's yesterday.
I think I know what you're going to say. Yeah, I think you are.
We sold Joe Roden, Connor Roberts, and Jamal Lowe for the same amount of money we paid for Sam Klukas.
Well, the difference is Sam Klukas has bought desperation to try and stay in the Premier League. I think the problem we have right now, and like we got some good money for players in that season, like Sigurdsson and stuff like that. Like, we did get good money. But then the thing is, when we sell a player like him for that much money, you're in the Premier League, you're desperate to stay. You're going to buy players like Klukas and bring back Boney and waste a bit of money. We're not the only club that's made those mistakes. However, Birch came in after that. Sorry. And kind of like stabilised, I think, the back of house areas in the transfer fees, stuff like that. We had good fee for McBurney, for Dan James in the end, after Hugh Jenkins pulled the plug on what could have been an atrocious fee for him, which maybe says a lot, really, because now Trevor Birch is gone. We're back to this, like, not getting the most for our players again. I mean, you've got to give him credit for holding out on Matt Grimes. I'm surprised they've done that, and I see that as a signal of intent that they want to back the manager because he's made it clear he wanted him to stay. So a little bit of like credit, but not too much because the rest of them were atrocious. You are right in saying 14-goal player. Where are you signing 14 goals for that price in the championship? That's ridiculous.
That's stupid.
Beyond.
Thought you were going to jump in now. I'm interested to know what you were going to say there, Joe.
Yeah, sorry.
Oh, no, I was only going back to the Klukas thing. I said my favourite thing about Klukas is that he's holding his shirt up in the Liberty Stadium thinking he's Messi. I find it...
Were you there for that? Was anyone there for that?
No, but I've got a little bit of something I can say on it, which I can't verify my sources, but I know someone that knows him. And I've seen some of the stuff the Swans fans send him, and a little bit of me says, "Do you know what?
Yeah,
fair enough."
I full well took that when he pulled. I was like, do you know what? It's annoying. It's a bit of banter, but fair play. If I was in his shoes,
we all loved it when Adebayo done it, didn't we?
Yeah, exactly. It was funny when Adebayo did it.
Thing, innit? If it was a Swansea City player that done that,
we'd have a statue next to Iverall Church, but
it's
listen, Klukas.
Yeah. Talking about Sam Klukas now, his beer's going to go down now. I'm going to get disappear him back.
Do you know, apparently, Liam Cullen's our oldest striker now.
Is he older than Pirro? Yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't even realise that.
How old is... They're both 22, but I think it's months.
How old is Obafemi then? I thought Obafemi was getting on.
21, I think.
I thought he was about 29.
Are you on about Femi Martins?
Femi Martins, I think. Yeah, no, sorry.
He's
well
over
29. I was going to say.
As if Alex has slept about all day thinking we've signed over Femi Martins.
No, I knew he played for Southampton.
Fancy season, let him know.
You better not clip that one on Twitter.
Oh, that's definitely going on Twitter.
Oh, leave that one alone. I'm going to have my season ticket rescinded now.
The cover for this YouTube is over Femi Martins and a Swansea top. A Photoshop. Sorted. I suppose let's move away from deadline day. Because I can tell we're all gonna cry soon. I think. Let's chat about the start of the season with the Swans. We'll focus on Swansea, but then we'll go a bit more general. Luke, what are your thoughts?
You said you didn't want us to cry.
I'm gonna ask Alex, but I think
I'm still living off a high. Of Bristol. I am. I went down there. Oh my goodness, what a day! Sorry, go on, Luke.
No, sorry. I said if you didn't want us to cry, I was talking about the start of the season. To know what's worst start of the transfer window. Yeah. No, I'm joking. I actually don't think it's. I mean, it's transition, and you've got to minimize your expectations a little bit. We had the Swans to finish like from 12th to 14th, I think, in our predictions at the start of the year, which I think would be a fair reflection. And the way I kind of see it going is first half of the season up to like Christmas, January, be a bit hit and miss, be a little bit ropey, like what it has been. You think it's getting better when you beat Bristol and you go and smash Plymouth, and then reality hits you. And it's going to be like that up and down, I think, on a week in, week out basis. There's going to be a couple more thumpings, and there's going to be a lot more nervy moments at the back. But it's going to get better. And I think we need to judge it first half of the season, second half of the season. What's the points per game? Are we still making these mistakes at the back? Are we still having this really low XG in front of goal and not creating chances? Stuff like that. If these problems are not as big of problems in the second half of the season, then I think the manager's doing his job, and it's looking good going forward. He also needs more than one transfer window to build a team to play this way, because
agreed.
2 years of Cooper, as much as we did it a bit more under Potter, 2 years of Cooper is kind of like a shock to the system, and I think some players are definitely showing that. Ben Cabango is definitely one of them. We said last season a couple of times, like, he's one of the first that will, and this isn't a criticism, he's a good defender, but he's one of the first that will kind of kick it away from the back, like hoof it upfield, if you like, get rid of it. And that's fine. He was fine last year, but he's not allowed to do that anymore. And he's taking 1-2 touches and then trying to play his pass. But every single team knows that what we're trying to do, and they're all just charging us down. And they can't take that 1 and 2 touches right now, because teams know that's where we're weak at the moment. Bender as well, like, he's getting a lot of criticism, but it's his first proper full season, especially at this level. I know Woodman had some issues after a couple of years with us, and people were still calling him up for. Bender's like further back in his development than Woodman, so you've got to kind of like expect some problems. At the end of the day, though, some of the issues, maybe he's taken a bit too much long to get rid of the ball at the back, and that is something that needs to be worked on. But he is being asked to do this sort of stuff by the manager, so you kind of got to like look at it from both sides. The main concern for me is the attack, though, and I don't think that's a new problem. I think it was a problem we had last season, especially after the second half, hence why our bad run towards the playoffs and the ultimate disappointment. We have brought strikers in now. I just feel like the way that Russell Martins had been playing so far, the strikers are a little bit more isolated than they were last season, even. And that's why Jamal Lowe didn't quite work as the striker. And I think that's ultimately why he's gone. So it'll be interesting now to see what he can do with these new players and whether that does start to improve.
I do think now he's got sort of his own. He hasn't got his own squad, does he? I suppose, but
it's in the making. It's in the making. And the identity's coming there now.
Yeah, and I think as hard as it's been to sort of out with the old and in with the new, maybe long term we'll be thinking, do you know what? Is what was needed. I think everybody accepted that with Jamalo. I didn't really see many people complaining about the fact that he'd gone yesterday. I think it was more the fee and the fact it was on deadline day. But I think it was like, thanks for the memories, thanks for the 2 goals against Cardiff. It's been.
He's always in the history books for that.
Yeah, so he'll be remembered on the terraces, for that. Same with Ben Wilmot a couple of seasons ago.
Yeah,
like Sam said, it was the fee for me, and I don't really care so much deadline day because we had another striker in, so it was sort of neither here nor there. But it was 1.5 million. I don't want to go back to it, but yeah, that's kind of what what did it for me. But George, what do you reckon, mate?
To be honest, boys, I think you've pretty much nailed it. But again, going back to what Luke said, we do well. Martin needs more than just one window to actually officially put his stamp on this side. Like, all right, he's brought in Ethan Laird, which obviously he was with MK Dons last season, so he knows all about Laird. You know, he's putting his stamp on this side. And I saw something the other day. Steve Cooper, when he was using the transfer windows with us, 58% or something like that of players were people he'd already worked with in the England setup. Now, with Martin, I feel it's going to be a completely different story, not purely because he's a young manager and this is his second senior role, but I think people will be more excited by the project that Martin's trying to do with the brand of football as well, and it'll be more appealing for players to come to Swansea. And I think that's why Cooper, like, don't get me wrong, he had his moments, but you look at the transfers and every single window you'll find like an England under 20 or under 18 international in there, because I feel like that was his only kind of pull in the window. Whereas if players now can see the project Martin is trying to build, like, again, this season, I'm not expecting a lot. I'm not expecting anywhere near the playoffs. It's simply just a rebuild. But if players can see the football that Martin is trying to bring, Martin's probably the closest thing we've had
since Laudrup.
Yeah, I mean, it's all good saying like since Potter, but we've only had Cooper since Potter as well, you know. But I can't think of another manager at the moment that we'd be able to afford that can bring that style of football back. And I think
it's close to Roberto Martinez as we're going to get.
Yeah, it's more of a Martinez kind of appointment, isn't it? You know, it's a very young manager. It's still all new to him, but he knows how to play his football. And I think if we're going to go back to basics and trying to get that Swansea way back again, then he's the perfect appointment. But again, he does need more than just a window. You know, he's had half a window really, hasn't he? He hasn't even had a full window.
Yeah.
I think he's been here about a month now, hasn't he? Was it the 1st of August or something? He was appointed. Yeah. I think it was
something like that.
Yeah, so he hadn't had long, and it'll take time. But you know, the thing is, I think you get the odd fan on Twitter and you get on his back.
The odd fan, mate. I've had so many people jumping on me and saying, "Oh, why are you backing in this?" I'm thinking, give him a chance.
I think the majority of fans are fairly positive. I think
it's all the loud ones. It is.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, I think you're right there, Luke. It's all the loud ones, sort of, and that's what I'm hearing. All the sensible ones, the ones who sort of know, a bit and a half about the Swans, they sort of keep me quiet and understanding. But the loud ones, in other words, shut up. That's what I'm trying to say.
I think it's what you said, Jordan, about players being excited to play for Swansea again. I mean, Obafemi at Blackburn were after him.
So that's not even something I thought about, George. So that's a fantastic point you made. That was a really good point.
The football is the pull again, rather than the manager.
Rather than the bloke in charge.
Yeah, which that hasn't happened for a long, long time.
While we're on this topic, I just want to address as well, a lot of people have been like, and myself included, like, Morgan Gibbs-White, he's gone Sheffield, didn't he? The Corahan's gone somewhere else now. I think Sheffield as well, actually.
Yeah,
there's a couple of players out, Surridge, we've got Wilmot, they both moved this window. And everyone's like, why have we not gone in for these players? They were here before, we should have gone back in for them. They all came because of Cooper.
Yeah.
We were linked with Gibbs-White earlier this window to come back. And I think Wilmot might have been linked at some point to come back while Cooper was still here. It was immediately apparent when we weren't getting any signings, it was all quiet. Like, the first thing he usually does in the windows is get some loan players in of these players he's had links with. That didn't happen. All of a sudden he's gone, and any link with Gibbs-White that went quiet, all this stuff, it went quiet. Woodman even, we were linked with bringing him back again as soon as this whole thing about Cooper potentially leaving, all of a sudden that went quiet, and there was nothing with that. That wasn't going to happen. So that's the reason we haven't gone in for these types of players, because I don't think, as much as Gibbs-White's a good player and stuff, I think he was here because of Cooper and the past ties. He might still come, as well, but I think that's the main reason.
Part of me thinks as well, a fresh start, new manager, clean slate, let him do his thing. None of this, we had him under Cooper and he was better. I just think new slate, let Martin get his signings in.
Yeah.
And it'll come. I think he'll get time as well. I really do. I'm confident he'll get time, at least a season and a half, I think.
He needs to.
He's had, he hasn't had a full preseason. He hasn't had a full window. There's a lot of things that there's a lot of managers in the championship, let's say, that's got like a bit more advantage over Martin at the minute. So if we're expecting like 3-0, 4-0 wins every week from the minute he's come in, like then unfortunately there's a lot of fans out there who've got another thing coming. It's gonna, I wouldn't say it's going to be a long season, you know. Like if we had let Lowe and Connor go and we didn't bother getting anyone in yesterday, then yeah, I probably would have said, look, it's going to be a bit of a long season. But these results are going to come. It's just that he needs to implement his style of play on the boys that he's got in now and the boys that have been used to Steve Cooper kind of football. It's not something that's going to change overnight. It's probably not something that's going to click till November, December. But when it does, I think it's going to be, you know, worth the wait. And
also, in terms of the time he's had to train the team, like I think nearly every week can be 1 week that hasn't been a midweek game.
Yeah.
So one or 2 days in between, you know, a rest day, you have 1 or 2 days in between a game and then traveling if you're away. This international break is the first period where he's really going to have the team to like actually try and implement some of his ideas, try and like get his vision across to some of them, you know, maybe get them as a group together other than the ones away on international duty and sort of say, look, this is how we're going to go forward and have a period where it's kind of going to be like a mini pre-season, I think, especially because he's been raising all these concerns about the squad's fitness as well. So it'll be interesting to see if we come back after this mini break, if you like, looking different. I think there might be some changes that we can see immediately. I'm not saying we're going to go out and I think is it Hull. I don't think we're going to maybe go and smash Hull, but you'll notice some more that you didn't notice from the first couple of weeks.
Yeah. Definitely. Shall we move on to the rest of the league? Just quickly, last like 5-10 minutes or so. I mean, there's a couple of teams I want to highlight who've really, really impressed me. QPR, who I am delighted are doing so well because I put them in the playoffs on my preseason prediction. So I'm delighted they're doing really well. Huddersfield as well. I am sure I had them to go down. I'm sure I did. What has happened there?
I can't remember who I put where, to be honest with you. I really can't remember who I put where. But yeah, no, I agree with you with QPR. I would like to see him go up.
I'd love to see him go up.
I do.
Yeah, we got in the playoffs. We put them in the playoffs.
I think I might have done it as well, but you know, you've got the likes of Stalker, Bournemouth, Coventry, a bit of a surprise, mate, to be honest.
I'll tell you our top six now, right? So we had Bournemouth, Sheffield, Fulham, West Brom, QPR, Middlesbrough. I mean, long way to go.
Well, it's looking good for you now. How many games in? 5. Come on.
And the bottom 3, we had Huddersfield down there, so maybe not.
Championship though, and anyone can finish anywhere.
It's exactly, John. You know, it's anyone's game in the championship. But yeah, I think Fulham I think they're going to be the team to run away with it this year. It's going to be between them and West Brom, but I think
Fulham
I do
running away with it, don't they? Let's be honest.
Well, hang on a minute. Let's not jump to conclusion. 5 games in, level on points with West Brom, but I don't want to like say this now, and then they'll end up doing like, you know, the typical Leeds in inverted commas where they sort of fly out the blocks and then tail off towards
Leeds,
Christmas.
Who are now in the Premier League.
Yeah, no, now, yeah, I understand now.
I know, I'm
but yeah, what Leeds used to do. But yeah, I think the playoffs would be quite interesting this year.
I think we're gonna have a couple of teams in there who aren't normally in there, and like even like the likes of Stoke, like who just haven't been anywhere near it.
Stoke are playing some good football.
They are as well. Stoke ball is not a thing anymore.
Yeah,
they do.
What a time to be alive. Yeah. No, you're right.
So obviously every team drops off at some point during the season, but when I say drop off, they're probably going to drop off the playoffs for a couple of weeks and they'll be back in it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Sheffield United's the one for me so far. Like, what is going on there?
It's mad, isn't it? But that said, I think they had so much deadwood in their squad. Ollie Burke, even like Brewster and McBurney, just what's happening with them? They just don't score there. Like,
it's just no like cohesion. There's no team.
No.
Yeah.
It's just individuals that.
I feel
they were buying the names, I think.
And when they were in the Premier League, they playing FIFA career mode, and they just want to have, I'll have him.
It suited Wilder's system in his first year, and I think this new manager's coming in. They're trying to play quite similar to us, but I think it's an even harder transition than what ours is. To be fair, they got better players probably to do it as a squad on paper, but I mean, you've got to get them working. That's a different kettle of fish. Like having them the names down there and actually getting them to function in the way he's asking. I think the Wilder ball. It's just a hard thing to change your players from and to be good.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm really, really expecting. I know he was horrific after his first 2 games for us, But I think Conor Hourihane's going to have an outstanding season.
It's written in it. Of course he is.
I think he is, though. But I think if he played for us this season, he'd have a superb season. I think Cooper Ball just nullified him.
He's guaranteed at least 2 or 3 goals this season, because it's just the Swans.
Well, I was going to say he's got to play us twice, and so there's one at least.
Jamal Lowe as well.
Yeah,
but the problem is with him, like we were playing him in a central midfield position, and the style of play we were playing, more so in the second half of the season, required us to defend for a lot of the match, and that's not his strength. No. If as Sheffield intend to do, get 60-odd% possession in every match, he's going to see a lot more of the ball, so he's going to be able to show his strengths more.
I agree with you to an extent, because even though that's what he's good at, playing in that number 10 role going forward, if you're asked to defend, if you're required to defend, and you're not defending, then where does that leave you?
Well, it's Cooper's fault for keep putting him in that position, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, I agree, but I think I don't think he made enough effort to track back when he was playing for us. Especially, I think about in Wembley. No, yeah, exactly, yeah. But I do think sort of Cooper left himself in a bit of a position where he's I got to pick you because I haven't really got too much else to do in that position.
Yeah, potentially. I mean, I'm not comparing them in terms of quality, but when you look at the players like Hourihane more recently, but then you have in the past where you've had Renato Sanchez, Rocky Mesa. If they were playing in a completely different Swansea City side and not under Paul Clement or Steve Cooper, let's say for example they were under a Graham Potter or a Laudrup, you'd see a completely different player altogether, wouldn't you? Hourihane clearly has.
He's got the talent, exactly.
Well, I think we're the only club that don't on Twitter. Every other fans Villa last year, they were oh, he's he's class. He's just not quite Premier League quality, But he'll do fab for you. First 2 games, we thought, we got some player by her. And then, I mean, you might as well have me and sent him.
I was going to say by the end of the game at Wembley, we were all going to have driven him back to.
He was poor, mine, but again, I think it comes down to a lot of Cooper's style of play. But again, you can't take away the fact that if a player is poor in a game, he's poor in a game, isn't he? If he's not even doing his strengths right. Then,
well, let me put it a different way for you, Alex, specifically. But if you had a Burst and Selena as a number 10, and then Cooper's all of a sudden playing him as central midfielder, and then he starts getting rings run around him in central midfield and not putting a tackle in, which I would expect that to happen to Selena if he was put in that position. Who do you blame in that situation? Do you say the player should be trying harder, or the manager shouldn't be putting him there, or brought him in if he's not going to play him in the position they should be playing him in?
You're going to answer, Alo?
Well, no, I'm thinking. It's a bit of both, and it's a bit of both. When you're on the field, if I'm in the starting 11 and I'm playing on that green grass, I'm not going to be pointing the finger at Cooper for a mistake I've made, because at the end of the day, I'm the one. Do you know what I mean? But I can certainly see where you're coming from as far as putting him in the side and playing him in the position he's playing. I
just mean sometimes, at the top level of football, there's a lot of tactics, there's a lot of mentality behind the positioning of players, and sometimes it's hard to adapt from an attacking minded role to a defensive minded role and do the same sort of job a Fulton would do in that role. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I totally agree with you.
Yeah, but I'm not Hourihane was quite poor for us, but I think that's why maybe at Sheffield he might.
He was just mentioned there, right? And I'm probably going to get a bit of stick for this, and I know it hasn't worked in the past with Swansea City bringing back former players, but I think under a new manager, and we really wanted a number 10. Selena's just gone on loan to League One.
Yeah.
He's not a League One player. I'm sorry. Regardless of what anyone says, he's not a league. He's a Championship player. He's not.
I would have taken him back.
I would have,
because under Potter he was really good.
I know why Alex.
It's literally the same conversation.
The old song.
He didn't work under Cooper, and Cooper sort of phased him out. He got rid of the number 10 position when he changed formation, and Selena didn't fit anywhere anymore. Where would you have played him, really? Because he wasn't playing anyone behind the striker, and he wasn't playing wingers, so he wasn't going to play.
No.
So yeah, I think it's the same thing, really. But then I guess he would play behind the strikers now, where Cullen or Patterson was playing if you did bring it back.
I think he'd fit in quite well in the system.
I think now he would fit in quite well, but under Cooper he was never going to fit in. It's that simple. I know there was talk about attitude problems and the rest of it, but
it all adds up to it's all part of the same thing.
It all adds up, of course it does. And I think I'm not saying like we weren't in for him. Like for all we know, we may well could have been, and that was the end of that.
Back, yeah.
That was the end of that. But I would have liked to have thought, look, I think where was it? Dijon out in France, wasn't he?
Yeah.
They got relegated to the second division in France. They had like the worst season ever. Why not tempt it? Like if he's willing to go to play League One football, surely he would have been tempted by the fact like, look, it's a club he already knows. It's a completely different manager. It's a fresh start. We need a number 10, and we give Championship football to him.
Yeah, and a number 10 shirt is vacant.
And was it West Brom?
It was vacant, yeah.
I mean, forget his penalty at West Brom.
I don't think anybody will ever forget that penalty at West Brom.
I know I'll have probably a few people hiding behind profile footballers saying about my Selena comment, but
it's all right, Joe. I don't think any of them listen to this.
No, I know.
Keep it that way if I was you.
I'll put a 15+ thing on it. None of them can listen then. No. Anyway, lads, thank you so much for joining us. It's been a pleasure. Would you like a couple of moments just to plug your socials? Jordan, go ahead.
Yeah, so it's the same everywhere, so it's just Jordan Webber 96.
Well, go and check his OnlyFans. Yeah. Jordan Webber 96.
No, don't expose him. No.
Go on, Luke.
Sorry.
A moment about OnlyFans.
I know. I was googling it. I was like,
Luke just couldn't stop thinking about
this.
The worst part is I've gone red about it.
There's a deadline day after.
I have to change my username.
Ours is so Swans Cast on Spotify and YouTube is where we put most of our content, and also Twitter is where we're most active. It'll be Swans Cast Media on there.
Awesome. And he says he's also joined by his good friend of our podcast as well. Lee joins him, but
should give Lee a shout out. He's not here today, but he's busy. But Lee usually joins me. He looks a bit like a Milky Bar kid, so give him a.
Too busy for sending him up. Jordan's taking time out of his OnlyFans shoot, right? To be with us tonight, and Lee can't even be asked to be.
But Lee's not in the middle of an OnlyFans shoot.
I'm a busy man. Like, so,
Yeah. Anyway, lads, thank you so much. It's
a pleasure, boys.
Yeah, we'll chat to you again at some point this season.
Pleasure as always.
Yeah, George, best of luck with your OnlyFans, mate. And we'll see you soon. Thanks, guys, for listening. You can find us on Instagram at Send Him Off Podcast, Twitter at Send Him Off Pod.
By the way, before we finish this, I would like to know if there is any sort of creep listening. I don't have an OnlyFans. Don't search. Don't put that out there now. Do not search it.
Anyone that was interested.
You can see the cogs going then.
He was like,
I better tell him right that I haven't actually got an OnlyFans.
Anyone that wanted to go to his OnlyFans, just go and buy a pillow instead.
Yeah.
Do it.
Go and buy a pillow. Or type in Sam Freeman on Spotify.
There we are. Again, now he's plugged. I'll pay you later, Joe. Thank you guys for listening. You can find us everywhere, and go buy our merch. Why not?
Yeah, 100%.
Tweet the link.
Yeah.
But, we'll listen. We'll speak to you next week, and we've got a nice little guest for you next week.
A lovely guest. Yeah.
Anyway,
say no more.
Yeah. Take care.